Appearance is also extraordinarily important when we're talking about building relationships with customers. The clothing worn by salespeople influence credibility and what a prospect will think of the person. One always needs to look professional. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to wear a suit and tie or a business attire all the time. But even if you're not wearing business attire, looking professional is absolutely imperative when you're talking to a prospect and trying to build relationships. With regards to my classes, those of you that were in my classes, part of the rubric when we do presentations is appearance and the way one looks and appropriately dressed. So I guess appearance doesn't necessarily mean business. You have to dress in business dress, but you need to be appropriate. And that's one of the key things, and that's why I've highlighted it in red right here, is appropriately dressed. Your tone of voice, vocal clarity, and verbal expressiveness is also key. I have a tendency to be very loud. Sometimes that hurts me, especially if a prospect doesn't respond well to a loud voice. You need to make sure that your tone of voice mirrors what your prospect's tone of voice is. If your prospects tends to be loud, tend to be exciting, then you should be. If your prospects tends to be more soft and less energetic, then you should be also. The impact of your voice quality is absolutely imperative in phone conversation also. Making sure that you enunciate your words and that people can understand you. Having to say what every other word is not a lot of fun. So don't talk too fast or too slow. Make sure you have colorful speech and avoid bad speech habits such as colloquialisms, slangs, and fillers. One of the worst things that people have is fillers. The ums, the ads, ands, the likes. All of those are what I call fillers. We work on those when we make presentations in my class, and that's one key thing to make sure that your impact of your voice is as high as possible. Etiquette is presenting yourself with the kind of polish that shows you can be taken seriously. And the key word there is taken seriously. If you want to be taken seriously by your prospect, make sure you show proper etiquette. Etiquette is absolutely key. You guys are going to have a lot of business lunches. You guys are going to have a lot of business dinners. And you're going to have a lot of business breakfasts. One of the key things these days is having breakfast before work starts. That way you're not taking prospect away from their busy day. Even at breakfast, lunch, dinner, it doesn't make any difference. Showing proper etiquette when we eat is imperative to building that relationship. In my undergraduate class, the advanced selling class that I teach in undergraduate, I spend an entire evening, it's usually a night class, I spend an entire evening on how to eat, what forks to use, what knives to use, where to put your salad bowl or your salad plate. All of those types of things is absolutely important for the prospect to be able to take you seriously. So etiquette is manners or protocol. Also, those of you that are going to do business overseas in Europe, they have different protocol than we do. Etiquette is still etiquette, but they have different protocol. So follow the European protocol. When we do American things when we're in Europe, it shows that we don't respect their country, especially if you're in Asia or in the Middle East. Making sure that you adapt to the protocol of that particular country is absolutely important. Rules of etiquette: avoid a new prospect by their first name. Call them by their surnames until they tell you differently. Don't have offensive comments or stories. Don't make offensive comments about anybody. Stay away from tough subjects like religion, politics. Even if someone says, well, what do you think about Trump? Deflect it. Say, well, he's in the news a lot. You don't want to talk about I like him or I don't like him, because the prospect might like them or not like them, and therefore you could be stepping on toes. So avoid controversial subjects. Make sure that you are deflecting any type of controversial subjects. Recognize the importance of being punctual. Never be late. When you're late, it tells the prospect that your time is more important than her time. And that is never, ever, ever the case. So Dale Carnegie has a book out there. They have some tips about building strong relationships. I recommend you read it, but being a good listener is top on Dale Carnegie's list of building strong relationships and taking interest in other people, not only in what the other person's job, the other person's industry, but the other person's life. And encouraging others to talk about themselves is also a very good idea. Dale Carnegie also talks about self-improvement and some self-improvement strategies. Appreciating the customer, responding to the customer's needs, responding to the customer's verbal cues, and executing what you have said that you're going to execute. That's the acronym CARE: Customize, Appreciate, Response, and Execute. So some things that we want to think about to creating a self-improvement plan. Number one is to set a goal. What are your goals? And also understand the goals of the prospect. Use visualization tools. Use tools such as your laptop, your iPad, your tablet to show the prospect the type of service or product, the type of product that you're selling. Positive self-talk and positive self-image. And reward yourself with your progress. Always leap forward with your progress and reward yourself with your progress. So that's going to conclude this lecture. Some questions that you should think about for review for the midterm. Explaining how partner relationships can add value. Enhancing your relationship strategy. Nonverbal factors that we talked about. Conversational strategies that help us build relationships not only with the buyer, with the whole buying center and the whole buying group. And self-improvement strategies. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back with the next video lecture.